I feel like you're going to have to get your tissues ready because this is quite a heartwarming story, especially when I heard about this and the fact that I have a 6-year-old daughter and I know, goodness do I know what it's like when she cannot find her favourite toy. God forbid she goes a night without her favourite teddy. It is absolute carnage in our house. We have, got to a point now where we don't actually allow her to take her favourite toy out of the house just for fear that she's going to lose it. It is a very small teddy tiger, and she calls it her favourite tiger. She hasn't even given him a name, actually. But this tiger is the size of my hand. It's really small. She can carry it everywhere. We actually bought her this tiger to replace the first tiger that she absolutely loved, because we thought, oh my gosh, she's going to lose that and then we'll never be able to find it again. But she's fallen in love with the replacement toy that now we just have to keep both of them indoors. You might think I sound absolutely crazy, but if you're a parent of a young 5 or 6-year-old, you'll know what I'm talking about. And the reason I discuss this is because I have got customer services agent Andrew Elliott, who's 24, on the line. He has made a young 6-year-old boy's week, if not year, after he lost his toy called Tenny. And actually, rather than me sharing the story, let's have a chat with Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Shay. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Very, very good. Very honoured and very grateful for the time to come and talk with you guys today about the story. It's been crazy, the amount of feedback I've gotten from it, all the likes and the comments on the various posts on social media. Never expected it to get as
Mate, it's gone viral is what it has. Now, you heard me as a mum talking about what it's like in my house when my Tyra loses her teddy. It is carnage. When I say that, I mean she's throwing everything out, all the toys, until she cannot find her baby tiger. That's what she calls her baby tiger. It's her little baby tiger. And here you are having somehow miraculously helped young Rafi because he was without his toy octopus for 11 days. Just set the scene of what happened then. Go on, Andrew.
So basically what happened was I was on the way back from London from a dentist appointment. So I was very sort of loosey-goosey with the anaesthetic that had been applied to my mouth already.
Oh,
and
dear.
Yeah. So initially I thought I was hallucinating, but basically it's a bit of a miracle because I get on a train at West Ham Station. Normally the train runs 8 carriages, so I get on right at the end of the platform, but that specific train that day was only running 4. So I went to a part of the platform I never ever go to. And as I was walking along just to sort of like stand ready for the train, I noticed this pink ball of fluff on the train tracks. And I sort of poked my head to the left and I thought, oh my God, it's a Jellycat toy. And I stood for a moment and I was like, I have to get it off of those tracks. And my immediate intrusive thought was, I'm going to get down there and I'm going to grab it. But I thought, that, 1, that's incredibly dangerous. 2, I will look absolutely crazy if I did that. And 3, admittedly, I had to go back to work at the same day because I'd already got out of work to do the dentist appointment. So I reluctantly boarded the train to go home. I felt very, very guilty about it, but I was like, look, I can't, unfortunately, like, where it is on the track, it's just too dangerous to get it. So,
no, good. That's the right thing. Can I just as a public announcement, just say, absolutely, you did the right thing. As much as you may have liked to have picked it up, you've got to, health and safety comes first.
100%. No, like I said, those tracks run parallel with the underground. So the fact that Tenny the octopus survived being down there in the first place is a small miracle in and of itself. But I got home and I was sat there. I was still in my coat and my shoes, and I was like, I have to go back. There's no way that I could. I literally got all the way home from the station and to my house, and I was like, I'm not leaving that octopus there. So I marched back to the West Ham station. And I went back and I sort of scoped it out and I thought, okay, no, regardless, I'm not going down on the tracks. I can't do it. Yeah. It'll be really difficult to explain if something happens, or if I would even be able to explain it. And I knocked on the little sort of box on the platform where the sort of platform master sits. And I just basically sheepishly asked him, hi, there's a teddy on the tracks. Can you help me get it? I want to reunite it with his owner. He looked like me, like I was crazy, but I think he understood it when he sort of poked his head round and he said, I would love to be able to get it for you, but it's just too dangerous. I'll put you in contact with a specialist and they'll either pick it up end of service or they will just come and get it now. And he basically said, that's that. Gave him my number and my name, and I went home. And about 6 hours had passed by, and it had been torrentially raining. This was like right at the time the storm was going on, so the weather was really, really bad. And I was sat at home, like talking to customers, doing my job, thinking that octopus is gonna, I don't know if it's gonna survive this.
I love this. The fact that you've gone home 6 hours later and you're still thinking about that poor little pink furry octopus teddy bear on the train tracks. Like, you obviously connected with it, right?
No, 100%, because I'm someone who, when I was very, very young, I lost my favourite toy, which I still have to this day. That particular story has a happy ending. I dropped him at a shopping centre, and I didn't know, and we got very, very lucky that we found him on a park bench. But I always thought,
what was your favourite teddy or toy as a young child?
His name is Bark Bark. He's a Dalmatian from the 101 Dalmatians. I don't know what character he is, but I just know that he's one of them. Admittedly, there's a lot of them, so I don't know all their names. I know Pongo, but that's about the summit of it. But no, that was always my favourite toy. And I thought, like, imagine if I'd lost him then it kind of, I feel like kids or just like young people, they latch onto things and they form bonds with it. Even if it's an inanimate object to another person, the responsibility that you can develop and that you can learn from having, you know, a toy that's like yours and it's your responsibility is important for development. And imagine, obviously, the trauma, like, having spoken to, obviously, the owner of the toy's mother, she basically mentioned that he was very, very upset about it, sort of could not do anything about it. They raised it with TFL and everything like that. But anyway, that's the story, so apologies for rambling.
No, you're not at all. So 6 hours had gone by. Did you finally get the call that they'd managed to get this pink octopus then?
Yeah, I got a call from a blocked number that said, "Hi, mate, is that Andrew?" And I said, "Yeah, hello." And then it was this man on the other end. The line was really crackling up, and all I could really make up was, "I've got the octopus. It's really dirty and wet. Are you sure you want it?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I'll come and grab it tomorrow." So about a day passes. I'd nip off to the station to get it. Brought a carrier bag with me. The octopus was very, very grey and sort of dirty and wet, and I thought, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to clean it up, but I'll try my best, you know, because at this point I've gone so far with this where it's like, no, I'm
it's kind of like there's no looking back, isn't it? Once you've started, you've just got to see it through, Andrew, because that's quite something for you to just be struck by this pink octopus teddy lying on the tracks. You've then gone back the next day. Basically, it's taken you better part of 2.5 days to get the octopus, and it's filthy, it's wet, it's drenched. You've picked it up, you've taken it home. Did you give it the octopus a name?
I didn't want to, because I was from a perspective of I don't want to get attached to this octopus because it's not mine. I thought, like, I can imagine, like, if I get attached to it, then I would maybe want to keep it. Not that the thought ever properly occurred to me. It was either I find the original owner or I organise some sort of charity thing for it, because I thought if I name him and I give him a personality and everything, then it's like, then it will become like I have to look after this octopus forever. But no, my intention was always to reunite him where he sort of belonged. I took him home. My mum, Lisa, she's a lovely woman. She helped me clean it up. Basically, we sprayed it with disinfectant thoroughly first of all, let that dry off, and then we had to use washing up liquid because everything else was too harsh. So we were basically... You've
got to go basic and simple, Andrew. Trust me, that's what I've learned. When you're trying to clean teddies, any type of teddy bear, whether it's a tiger or an octopus with all their tentacles, you're all right with a little bit of washing up liquid, aren't you?
Yeah, there was a moment when I came in and my mum was massaging fairy liquid into the tentacles of this toy octopus, and I was like, what on earth is going on? You know, when you're doing something... what am I doing, sort of thing. I was like, I knew I was doing the right thing, but you know when you're doing something so bizarre that you're like, this out of context looks incredibly it just looked really weird, and I was like, well, I'm through with it now. We put him in a cold wash, and then he left him to dry up. And then after I'd established that he was clean and okay, because I was worried that when I picked him up, he was going to have, frankly, been not in the nicest of states, just because of where he was on the track and due to the weather. But he came out really lovely. He came out good as new, smelling great. So I thought, right, I'm going to set out, find as many Facebook posts, Facebook pages as I can in the local area, and just sort of spray the story wherever possible. I posted it on my local one in Upminster, and then I posted it on the actual customer service page for the train line that I get.
Okay.
So the train line itself is called C2C, And there's like a Facebook page dedicated to customers on that that's mostly about train delays and people losing phones and stuff like that. And I composed the post on there. And then, obviously, like you say, very gratefully, it went viral. It only took about 3 hours for one of the relatives of the owner to actually come up to me and mention it. And I posted about this story previously on Reddit and other places as well, just for the novelty of it, just to say, like, hey, this is something that I'm dealing with today. This is something that happened. I just thought it was a cool story. And I had quite a few people being like, oh, yeah, that's my octopus. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, where did you lose it? And then they'd tell me Golders Green Station. And I'd be like, right, well, I found it at West Ham, so it's not yours.
It's not yours, mate. You're going to have to keep on looking. So So when you finally heard from the family member, can you talk me through that moment of, getting, I mean, it's just quite something, isn't it? It's just the most heartwarming story of finally getting this beautiful octopus back to its rightful owner, to 6-year-old Rafi, who, by the way, just in case you're not aware, his mum has been saying that Rafi was left in tears, absolute tears, when he was separated from his beloved toy. And the actuality, for those 11 days, he's just been crying about his octopus. So when you managed to how did you manage to get it back to Rafi?
So it was just a case of I was put in touch with Rafi's mum over sort of Facebook Messenger. She gave me the address and everything. Yeah. I didn't even need to ask for proof or anything, because her brother and her grandmother as well. I'm not sure if it's her grandmother on his side, but yeah, Rafi's grandmother basically was commenting on the post as well, saying about how lovely the whole thing was, which was very nice.
Oh my gosh!
So the whole family got involved.
Just the whole bit. Hey, Andrew, I appreciate you're only 24. Let me tell you, when my daughter lost her baby tiger, it was the whole family that got involved trying to find it. And it ended up that she'd left it in the boot of Granddad's car. That was after we'd rummaged the whole house. We'd gone in the garden. We've looked through the bins. We'd even, I kid you not, looked right across the pavement of the front road. We just had no idea where this possibly could have gone. And then we thought, we should probably check Granddad's car, and it was in the boot. Still don't know how it managed to get in there. I literally do not have any idea. So how did Rafi react when he was finally reconnected with his octopus, who we now know is called Tenny?
Tenny the octopus, yes.
Yes.
No, he seemed to be very, very happy about it. I was told that he'll be taking extra special care of all of his toys from now on. Yeah, absolutely. After something like that, you have to batten down the hatches somewhat, make sure everyone's organised. His mum sent me a very lovely photo of him holding the teddy, which was just the perfect sort of conclusion to the whole story.
It is the absolute most perfect story to hear on a Tuesday afternoon. 11 days later, 6-year-old boy is reunited with his favourite toy, and all thanks to the kindness of a stranger, Andrew. I mean, it's just beautiful, isn't it?
It's the whole point of the story is just people walk past stuff all the time without really batting an eyelid. People walk past like lost belongings, like whether it's like a pair of mittens, a woolly hat, like a headphone case. It's something miscellaneous like that. And there's always a story attached to the person who's lost it. Very rarely does someone just discard something of value like that, because most people, I imagine, at the station that day probably thought, there's a toy on the tracks, that's weird, and just moved on. But I guess, like I said, it's important to remember that even something like as maybe insignificant to one person, such as a teddy, can mean the world to somebody else. Absolutely. It's just about, the stories behind lost articles and stuff like that. Like I said, it's been incredibly surreal. I've been incredibly fortunate with all the attention the story's got, and not that I searched out for it. I just wanted to find the owner,
Well, I'm so glad you did, because little young 6-year-old Rafi is just absolutely happy. His mum has said, I think it teaches Rafi a really nice lesson about the kindness of other people's actions, as someone has really looked after something he cares about. And that's you, Andrew. Thank you for brightening up our day here on Radio London. And I hope you will continue to be such a good Samaritan. It was so lovely speaking to you.
Thank you. It's lovely speaking with you too, Shay. Have a lovely day.
And just look after Bark Bark, all right? Hold on tight
Absolutely.
to Bark Bark. Thanks again. Bye, Andrew. What a heartwarming story, hey? I genuinely love that. It's a good point, though, isn't it? How many times we walk past a toy on the street and just thought, doesn't matter, just throw it in the bin. Actually, no, because somebody could well own that. There could be another young 6-year-old child in London looking for their lost toy. I think we all need to pay a little bit of heed to what Andrew said there.